5. Every replay, every stand-up fight, felt it together on race night. In the night that the legends lead, all the underdog, every winning streak. From all-time heroes to the final bite, we hold on till the end of the fight. When the screen goes down, the echoes remain. Another chapter written in speed and fame. If you live for the more than the racing truth, learn to all grip that word. That's you. Sign of fame, but the passion stays. Another race in the broadcast haze till the lights go green and the mics ignite. Virtual Grip Network grips the night.
When the dust settled on the season opener, Ed Foster found himself 11th in points, 10 markers behind race winner Ruben Altice. The schedule next went to Martinsville, where the Adelaide Blade came home in 4th, seeing him crack into the standings top 10, closing the gap to the new point leader, Brendan Myers, from 11 to 7. A 5 flags podium upped the Aussies another rung on the points ladder, and only 6 markers down. After round 4 at Myrtle Beach, Ed shaved 2 more points off the gap to Myers, making him only 4 back. James Lowe took over the points lead for the first time when the season went to Lanier. But despite the point leader swap, Foster held station. Tonight, as the series hits the center line, with 5 races before and 5 races coming up after, the Adelaide Blade, Ed Foster, is looking to slice his way up the points and perhaps cutting a path to the championship. So pull the lever on the Lazy Boy and settle in for one man's down under drama as the excitement of simulated short track racing comes your way. Streaming cyberspace into your place, Concord Motor Speedway is the host venue for the Virtual Grip Network's 6th-round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's late model Invitational Series. It's season 33. A warm Tar Heelian, that's a hard word to say, hello and welcome on this Saturday night. It's February 21st, 2026. Jeremy Gridlock Scott joins yours truly, Bill Soups on, high up in the VGM press box to bring you our Words Eye View. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders, former tank commander Ryan Seneker. All right, partner, you got to watch this last night with these super late models. What do you think it's going to play out here in these little underpowered machines?
Well, it's tires. You know, that was a big key last night, and that's what a lot of the drivers who are racing in.
Tire's going to be lost, Jeremy. They're hopefully just pressing the wrong button. Otherwise, Soup's going to do this one solo. It's been a long dream of mine. Oh, we got him back. Okay, go ahead, buddy. We lost you at tires.
You know, I lost myself at tires, and that was what a lot of drivers are going to be losing last night, especially around 60, 80 to go. So going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Also, the high line had a little bit of a factor in the early part of the race. So keep an eye on that. We'll see how long that lasts tonight.
Okay, they call this place the world's fastest half-mile tri-oval. You know, that's probably not a high bar on that one, Jeremy. I don't know of any other half-mile tri-ovals. I guess there might be some, but it's not hard to be that when you're the only one of it.
Well, and something I mentioned last night, too, it's like a mini Trenton or Pocono, however you want to look at it.
There you go.
Yeah, a little weird to see a half-mile tri-oval in racing.
Today's race is sponsored by the AFFW, the Association for Fast Food Workers, which today honors Sally of Redlands, California, Taco Bell, who went past industry standards when it came to the number of hot sauce packets to include in a certain VGN commentator's bag. We congratulate her and cheer her on her career. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the points. This is the 7th time that the BRL has brought the late models to Concord. No active driver has a career win here, believe it or not. James Lowe is the point leader for the first time this season. Brendan Myers has finished no better than third, no worse than seventh. Ed Foster's season was highlighted in the broadcast opener. You know, Lowe, Myers, and Foster are the only three drivers to race every lap this season. Good chance for Chris Worrell to pick up his first win, as a 12th place last time I was going to regrid him up on the front row. Kyle Feemster has podium in his last two races, which includes a win at Myrtle Beach. Lack of stamina plagues the elderly. Lowell Jules' 17th last time out is a testament to that. Good news for Chris Davis, as he won last week. Bad news is he leads all drivers this season in collected incident points. Todd Liston holds the record for most career laps in a late model here at Concord. 18th twice, 8th twice, and a long-forgotten opening round win has been Ruben Altis this season. And the caveman, Trey Bloom, is the final name on the overlay, which brings us to the Soup of the Day spotlighted driver. And it is the man we mentioned, we highlighted in the opener, is Ed Foster. Now Simon and Poindexter in those smoke-filled back rooms of Vegas Casino. The VGN stat boys have put the number, it's way up there this time, Jeremy, 5.5. Bet the under if you think Ed's going to finish in the top 5. Bet the over 6 or worse.
I'm feeling really good about the Adelaide Blade tonight. You know, he's due. I think I'm going to take the down under, folks, and I think he's going to finish high in the top 5.
The down under. Well done. All right. With that said, qualifying, well, no, correct myself here. I've been doing this long enough. Qualifying doesn't happen in a BRL race. Practice is done, and the drivers are beginning to grid up right now based on inverting the top 13 from the previous round. And again, we talked about what that's going to mean for Chris Worrell. He's going to be sitting on the outside of the front row, underneath on the man who did finish in the Baker's dozen spot. It's going to be Chris Haslick, the Race and Rev.
Chris Haslick, that's a new name. Row 2 is Alan Wanamaker. Well, he'll be alongside Adam Shane in 79.
Everybody takes a sip when Soup mispronounces or misidentifies a car color. Ruben Altis will be starting in 5th. Outside of him, he's led one lap this season. We're talking about Cucumber Kurt Smith.
Aussie, oi, rolls off from the 4th row in the 4 car 7 in the 8th spot.
Go. James Lowe starting in the 9th position with Tom Hilbert outside of him.
As you take a look at row 6, it's the Canadian Goose John Wilson and the boss man Lowell Jewell.
Starting in the 13th spot is going to be Steve Hilbert. He's going to be flanked by Bobby Hayes.
Now you take a look at row 8, Babani and the Jets Ellison alongside Todd Liston.
And then we got two veteran drivers filling up the last row. 17th and 18th belongs to Mike Holloway. And good to see Jeffrey Harden racing again with us. He's a bit of a part-timer this season. Nice to have him back. Okay. They are working, I guess it's the back straight. I don't know how many straights they have here. Let me turn it over to my partner.
I'll say the way we did last night, there's only 3 turns. Cars going around turn 3 right now. It's the Race and Rev. Chris Worrell alongside each other. Green flag is out. And I'll tell you this, it's been a while since Hayslip has taken a pole, because Worrell jumps out to an early lead. And on the outside, it's Adam Shane. He's going to take that 2nd spot through turn 2. But either way, look at that. Now the Race and Rev kind of dives deep and gets things going.
The Lipper might have missed a gear there on the start, as he really got a slow start. I was worried that the guys behind him, tip of the hat to Ruben Altis, didn't run him over. Okay, so that means Shane's going to tuck into 2nd. The Lipper drops into 3rd. Alan Wanamaker moves from 3rd into 4th position, and then racing around it out to top 5. Oh, we got a caution. Oh, it's the 87. It's Todd Liston. So many laps of experience here in a late model, but nothing can prepare you for when electric boots gets into your rear end. Benny Ellison.
You know, unfortunately, that's racing here as we go deep into turn number 3, and not sure if Ellison. Oh, did he lose his brakes?
You know, it looked a lot better. You know, Benny should thank our director for that one when he put it into slow motion. It really did make the closing feed not as dramatic.
Let's watch it at speed, because that makes life a little bit more interesting. Yeah, exactly. That just looks like Ellison just wasn't able to slow down in time. Oh, the brakes worked, so that's always good.
Not a big dramatic spin for Liston. He was well in the back anyway. Not going to lose a ton of spots. He'll have some time to make it up. He started in 16th. He'll be going back to just a couple spots. Who you want to talk to, buddy?
Yeah, let's bring up Chris Hazlip, our pole sitter there in the number 93. We'll make it a little quick. Hey, Chris, it's Jeremy and Soup up in the booth. What happened there on that restart?
I hate to tell you this, but I've been running a car with paddle shifters. I forgot and tried to shift with a paddle shifter, and I was supposed to have been on the 8 shifter. So when you get old, stuff like that happens.
Was there something actually to grab, or was it just air?
No, I have a paddle shifter, but when I pulled it, obviously the gear didn't
do
change.
anything. Okay.
Yeah. But one good thing about it was I didn't spin the tires.
No, it looked good. Hey, I want to talk about your paint scheme. I got pros and cons. It is beautiful, except I don't like the contrast of the color of the number on top. It's like a blue number on a blue head with a thin white outline. Let's see if you maybe put a nice gold shiny number on top. What do you think?
What color are you thinking, Sue?
I like the chrome. Give me a nice gold number up there. Go get him, buddy.
I'll do my best, buddy. Thank you.
That's all fun and games until you realize that your paddle shifter is giving you a box full of neutrals. Oh, wait, there's a shifter right there. That's a first. That is a first here in the BRL. Green flag is out as Chris Worrell gets that good jump once again. Adam Shane going to duck in behind and let everybody behind him go side by side for position. But this time, Alan Wanamaker going to take the high line. He's going to be able to clear Hazlip here in just a little bit. I would imagine the exit. Oh, no, they're leaning on each other as Hazlip gets a much better run. And, yeah, that's one good thing about having that, realizing you're not paddle shifting. You don't have to worry about spinning those tires.
Here's what I like about Hazlip. He doesn't have the talent to run up front, but he will burn up any tire equity he can. He'll stay up front for as long as he can, enjoy being up there. Wanamaker stuck on the outside. Ruben Altice, that win in the opening round seems like ancient history. It was back when Eisenhower was president, I think. That's what it feels like, at least. He's now working his way up to fourth. Wanamaker stuck on the outside. And, oh my goodness, it didn't take long. Here comes the white and blue number 99 of James Lowe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes for James Lowe to get up to the front once again, as right now our featured driver, Ed Foster, in 8th place, but still plenty of time for him to come up through the pack. We'll wait to see some of those cars that have that tire equity kind of drop off, and then we'll all be in a little bit of good shape. But still, Foster trying to do his best to get around Alan Wanamaker here as everybody single file. And that's what we saw last night, is a lot of single file running after a couple laps of green flag racing. The tires would start to get a little too hot for some drivers who were pushing a little too hard. And that's when the real racing ended up starting.
Now we go single file. Working really hard right now is Adam Shea. Now, Adam has the reputation to be able to come from the back. It is rare because he's not a full-time driver. He so often doesn't get the good regrid where you have to actually show up for the race after the one you ran before. He gets a good starting position right now, starting the outside of row 2. He's worked his way up to second. He's used to saving his stuff and then having it at the end, but right now he gets to race for fun as he's working on Worrell. And Worrell is due for a win. He had one stolen from him earlier this season when he came around corner number 4 and found a car perpendicular to where he was going between him and the checkered flag. I think he might have one here wire-to-wire time.
Well, let's see here. It's not going to take long for him to catch up to lap traffic as Hilbert, Steve Hilbert, that is, tail end Charlie about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through his lap. So he's going through turn 3, while the rest of the field making their way around turn 1. It's amazing. We're running just about the same lap pace as we did in the super late model race last night. So that's something to watch out for. There's Holloway going to the inside, bringing Smith with him as well. So, yeah, it's just going to be one of those things where the different speeds of Concord are really going to mess with you here early on.
I have done so many modified races, and it's really a different animal when it comes to doing these late models as far as tire wear. The modifieds are about tire heat, and they can actually come back to you on a caution flag and will cool off the race. These tires, when they go, my goodness, they go quick, so you never really know. These things are never certain. You look like somebody's running away with it, and everything can go south real quick. Quickly, Director, let's jump in on our spotlighted driver. It's the Adelaide Blade, Ed Foster, racing in 8th position. He's got a ways to go. He's got Alan Wanamaker, who was stuck on the outside there for a while. Now he's got his inside line. Everybody now on the inside line. We are single file all the way through.
Well, and that's the thing, too. You know, you'll know when these tires start to go off because those drivers will be up high, kind of like they were last week at Lanier, but just a little bit different. You'll start to see different lines develop the longer that the runs go on, as you see the quiet man, Ruben Altice, going to the inside.
He waited. He was very patient back there. Ruben Altice gets underneath Chris Hayslip. Hayslip's going to make him earn it, but he's stuck out there. There goes your points leader, James Lowe. And then the winner last time out, the number 7 in the Kleenex machine. Oh, bouncing off the wall as the lipper almost gets into Davis. Davis is going to get through.
And, of course, that's also another feature that we saw last night is a lot of drivers would smack the wall a little bit later on through their run. So if they started burning up the tire equity early on, that's how you kind of knew that some of these drivers were just pushing just a little too hard. There's the 36 of Jeffrey Harden there in 16th spot, back with Kurt Smith and Mike Holloway. Strange territory to see Kurt Smith in 15th. He's down 9 spots.
Yeah, he started way up, not sure. Kurt, opposite of what Adam Shane charging through the field. Kurt will fall back, save stuff, and then make another run through. So maybe the pace was a little too steep for him, a little too fast for him right away, so he drops back again. He knows he has plenty of time to get there. Still 72 more laps of racing to go in anger.
That's still plenty of time to make a move here at Concord. Of course, you know, an odd-shaped oval, and something I talked about with James Lowe last night is, you know, you think that you're turning from 1 to 3. He even said, no, you're barely straight here on the straightaway as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these drivers will save their equipment, especially for the end of the race. You don't want to get too aggressive too early on because you're not going to have much rest for these 100 laps. You're going to be begging for a caution at this point.
Look at the battle for the lead. Shane was trying to get underneath. He takes a wide angle through 4, then tries to duck it down. He is what my dad used to call working both sides of the street like a jaywalking milkman. And to begin, everyone knows, if you're watching a lot of these broadcasts, the profession that my dad actually said was not a milkman, but they won't let me say that profession on this broadcast. So use your imagination. What I'm trying to say is, Adam Shane is trying everything he can, every trick in the book, to see if he can find some way around Whirl. I think Whirl's just going the pace he needs to right now to keep Shane behind him. Not faster than he needs to, not slower than he should.
No, it's a good pace. You know, he's the leader, so, you know, he can set that pace, but everybody's single file. You've got a group of 9, then you got to go back to the next leader, the next group in 10th. That's Lowell Jewell. There's not many places. You know, right there, there's that 3-car gap. Yeah, there's the boss man right there. As Benny Elson taking a high line. There goes James Lowe to the inside of the 70. That's for 3rd place. And he's got his nose there. And that's one thing that James says, that this track, more than any, you got to be super patient.
I was watching it. Altice made a run on Shane. It didn't go well. He lost momentum. And then Lowe thought he would try to get underneath, that he could. Altice knows that's something he does not want to do. Altice really, really good at protecting his spot, though. But now, as I say that, he leaves the door open. They touch. Lowe backs off the throttle so that nothing worse happened. They get that sorted out. Easy, boys.
Now, it looked like Ruben got a little loose through turn 3, which is not what we normally see out of the 70. So we'll keep an eye on that setup there and see how he's doing. Right now, still hanging tough in third, but that gives Whirl and Shane a chance to open up just a little bit of a gap for that battle for third place. Here comes the Adelaide Blade.
Yeah, he's been back there waiting. He's trying so hard, doing everything he can to get around Wanamaker. He's faster than Wanamaker. He's faster than Hayslip. Hayslip doing a good job to stay up. Here comes the Blade. He's going to cut his way through. He's got Wanamaker pinned to the top. Wanamaker's been up there for half the lap. Seems like he cannot keep the number 9 down on the low side. Here comes Ed Foster.
And now it's just going to take a couple of laps for Foster. Actually, going to take a couple quarters, I should say, as Wanamaker up there between the 99 and the 70. So James Lowe and Ruben Altice deep into battle for third place. A little loose out of the 99. So looks like turn 3 is just going to be one of those haphazard turns for the late models tonight.
Well, that was a little bit of drifting there from the 99. He really cranked the wheel to the left to keep the car off of Altice. He did not want to drift up into him. Back there in the popcorn position. And I almost got to wonder if the 99 isn't working a little harder than he normally would, knowing that he has, well, I mean, we talked about it when we went through the points. The number 7 of Chris Davis, he's collected more incident points than any other driver so far this season. Lowe, got to worry about the number 7 back there. Now he's going to take one more shot. He'd like to put a little bit of a cushion. They got the lap car. That is Tom Hilbert. Boy, little brother Tom does a good job getting out of the way.
Don't need to worry too much about the Hilberts as they work their way through the field, but either way, still have Altice. A couple tires down on that flat there. That did not give Lowe the advantage that he really wanted for third place, and everybody's still single file. It's going to be one of those thinking man's races to see where the best place to put it and really calculate your moves instead of having to go for it.
All right, if you're one of Soup's soldiers in my clipboard army, don't pay attention to the gap from first to fifth. Go all the way back, because I think the man who's coming, he's got a long way to go. It's our spotlighted driver, Ed Foster. He's made his way around Wanamaker. He's made his way around Hayslip. He's now left those guys behind. He's going to try to run down the top 5. And I think the advantage that Foster will have is that Whirl's just running a nice, comfortable pace right now. Fast enough to stay in front of Shane. Not too slow. Shane doing everything he can. Shane knows he's got to get going. It won't be long until Lowe gets around Altice. He's trying it one more time.
Yeah, of course, these drivers in this pack are running 17s as you see Ed Foster running high 16s. So it's only a matter of time until he catches the back of this lead pack. And, of course, it's only a matter of time before James Lowe finally gets up and around Altice. A little bit of another bump there off of turn number 3. So not sure if
no!
he spins him!
And going to the top side is Chris Davis. Crystal Ball Racing from the number 7. Altice is okay. Does it even bring out the caution? I think it does. All right.
And, of course, this is the caution that Ed Foster needed because it gets him back up there with everybody else, but he's going to be on the high side, unfortunately.
I haven't looked yet. Have we had a chance for the replay yet, or we got this one with some live? We saw it live, so we're good. Let's go ahead and dial up our spotlighted driver. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The director found it. That was easy. Very polite spin. Straighten him out. And honestly, I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead.
As I say, yeah, that was, that wasn't too bad. Could have been a lot worse.
The big news is on this, but when I look at the timing and scoring, they're going to score James Lowe. Is this true? They're going to score him in third. Apparently, Davis didn't get around. Apparently, Davis did it quick enough to get around Altice, but not quick enough to get around Lowe. So that means James Lowe is going to be scored on an odd number, Davis on an even number. My goodness. Okay, do we have time? Let's see if the lights are still on. Let's go ahead and dial up Ed Foster, our spotlighted driver. Let me talk to him here real quick. Ed, it's Soup up in the booth. You got a copy?
Sure do.
I think that's the caution you needed. You were able to get around Wanamaker and Hayslip. Now you got the guys in front of you that you were trying to catch.
Yeah, man, it was a bit of a... You remember that scene out of Top Gun where he's kind of, Maverick sitting in there behind Iceman? He's going, ice, fire, or clear? Come on, that's that's what we're doing, man. I was just kind of sitting there hoping that Alan was going to be able to get round Lipper there. And in the end, I just had to go. So we'll see what happens on the restart. Now I'm on the outside, but hopefully I don't have to try and go past him again. I don't know.
All right, quickly, how much of your equipment do you tear up trying to get around Wanamaker?
Oh, I don't think it's too bad, mate.
Fantastic.
You're our spotlighted driver. Go get him, buddy. Pace car is in. Hopefully, Jeremy, he won't do like one of those inverted where he like waves to him upside down like they did in Top Gun. That's where I thought he was going.
I was flying inverted. Worrell has the call once again, gets the green flag, and now Lowe going to try and get around the inside of Shane. Shane's going to shut the front door on him. Here comes Ed Foster. High, wide, and handsome. He and Altice are going for that 5th spot. So far, so good as Altice dives to the inside. Now Foster just needs to get down low.
You know what? He had the driver from America's 51st state there, the Canadian of John Wilson, who let him down in there. I think only a Canadian would have left the door open. That was very polite from Wilson. Look at the battle up front, boy. I'm telling you, Shane is working on Worrell. Worrell is notoriously quick. I wonder if it's just not sitting well because he's not able to run away from these guys. I figured, Jeremy, that Chris was just saving him stuff. I'm not sure that's the case right now, the way that Shane can work on him.
I'll tell you what, Shane over the past couple of weeks has gotten more and more racy, and it's been actually fun to watch a 79 try and get up towards the front. Now that he's up there with Chris Worrell, he's running them ragged, and I'll tell you what, Shane's doing all he can, looking to the inside, doesn't make anything happen coming off of turn number 3. Of course, anybody be motivated if you've got the 99 behind you.
Yeah, something fishy going on with the 06. He was the fastest in practice. I think he's sandbagging right now, just going fast enough. Adam, of course, does not want to get in trouble with the race stewards. He's trying to be good.
Be good. Go, Adam, go. Yeah, I don't say that. This is why. But either way, Adam, Shane trying to close in, trying to keep James Lowe behind him for second place. Let's also see where Ed Foster is. He's falling back to 6. Oh, Ed, you've got plenty of time to get up to 4. At least get me 4th. At least get me 4th. That's all I ask for. But, yeah, he's got the Canadian Goose knocking at the back door as well. Is that a blanket I saw? 75? Either way, you know what? Stranger things have happened here on the BRL, especially at Concord. But now everybody's single file trying to figure out what their next move's going to be.
Well, let me tell you something. Let's go ahead and check in on Lowell Jewell, car number 2, the local retirement home here in California. They just got internet. They've become a big VGN fan, and they are pulling for Lowell Jewell. So all you guys in Shady Acres down there watching the race, your man's doing good. Started in 12th, up 2 spots, cracked into the top 10.
And co-outs or tryouts are tomorrow for the spot that we will no longer see Soup in.
Oh, good. Ed Foster, about 5 or 6 car lengths back. Here we go. You see him. There's the gap. Going to try to get up there.
And of course, also Ruben Altice, trying to hang with the rest of the field. A little bit of a rub there off of turn number 2, so would not be surprised to see this battle for 5th between Altice and Foster heat up once again. Of course, it all depends on what this lead pack does, or if Foster decides he's going to try and drive just a little bit harder. I have a feeling that Ed's just trying to save his equipment there for later on. Now you see Todd Liston knocking at the door of that top 10 between he and Lowell Jewell. There's just so many close battles to watch out for. It's hard to sit and find one.
Indeed. Give some love to some drivers we haven't talked much about. How about Jeffrey Harden? Up 6 spots, racing in 12th. Never know what kind of paint scheme he'll be running this time. Oh, it's that beautiful gold one indeed. And go ahead, take a sip. I've been told that it's green. Right up in front, look at Todd Liston going underneath Lowell Jewell. Right behind the Lipper, doing his very best to hang in there.
Yeah, ninth place out of the racing round, looking pretty good so far, but Listentar trying to get that nose inside of Lowell Jewell. A little bit of rub in there, a little touch, not too much. Don't want to make the boss man too mad, but either way, back to the front, we see James Lowe getting even closer to Adam Shane, the two running close to the same lap times. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of a second separating the two of them as they come across the line once again. Chris Worrell still your leader. Ruben Altice fastest lap of the race so far with a 16.447, but he's starting to lose grip on that lead pack. And you know who's back there to answer the call? It's the Adelaide Blade.
What I'd like to do at this point of time, I'd like to look at the drivers and compare their talent level to how much tires they've been using up. And I go right to the 99, I go right to the 7. I've watched Lowe really work the car. In fact, he even spun it a few times. He's been working that car really hard. Now, he might be the most talented driver out here, but maybe the next talented driver might be the 7 of Chris Davis. And compared to the way they've been racing so far, the path that they've had to 3rd and 4th, well, I think Davis's has been a little easier. And when it comes down to these final laps, the number 7 may have more in store than the 99.
Well, again, I'm still not counting out the 4 of Ed Foster, or really the 06 of Chris Worrell. I mean, Chris, look at how long he's held the lead with Shane and Lowe breathing on.
Oh, there goes Lowe! A little help from Davis. Oh, and then Davis gets a little justice paid by the executioner, Ed Foster. The blade came down on the neck of Davis, and he was guillotined. The justice from France. Let's watch this again. What am I talking about? Well, here's what I'm talking about. Now, I think Lowe gets in the back here. Here comes Lowe. Is it Davis that gets him? Oh, Davis gets him clean. Egads. There's no way to frame that other than egads. Lowe goes around, and then Ed Foster has had enough. That's a little Aussie justice there.
Yeah, Ed's up to 4th. That's fantastic. Only problem is he's just going to be on the outside in row 2.
Now, we have been very neglectful as we have called this whole race and have not mentioned that the man who came into the race 2nd in points, only 1 back of James Lowe, was Brendan Myers. Myers is conspicuous by his absence. Sorry to see that. He was on a nice championship run, but we build it up. Ed Foster is in the hunt. Remember, only 4 back of Lowe? Well, now he sits, let me count the positions. 1 ahead, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where the heck is James Lowe? He's gone. Holy moly. We could leave here if it was going to end right now, and I guarantee you it won't until iRacing puts in that long-awaited-for Godzilla feature where it attacks during the race. But if that's not in yet, this race is going to go the distance. But if we're ending right now, your new points leader would be from down under, Ed Foster.
Oh, what a good, well, let's see what happens. We still have plenty of time left to go in this race, almost a quarter of the race left to go. By the way, so lately I've been tabulating notes during the race and, who's been involved in what caution, if we've had any lead changes. This is the first time that I can think of that the 99 has been involved in 2 consecutive cautions here in the late model series.
Yeah, usually he seems to, at 25 laps is way too early to count the 99 out. Aunt Marielle is watching saying, oh, Soup, my nephew's got plenty of time to get there. I know, but things do not look good for him right now. All right, we're going to bring the pace car down, partner. Now it's time for Worrell to show us what he's got.
And hopefully the nose is indeed okay on Ed Foster's car. By the way, our friends at ISRA have tuned in. We'll talk about their Wednesday night series here later on. Big jump by Worrell, green flag back underway. Ed Foster going to take a look to the inside, looking pretty good so far. But look at Shane still using that high line as Ruben Altice just still closes in once again on that 79 of Shane through turn number 3, and still, look at that though. You've got the Canadian Goose sitting there in 5th place. He's close, but no cigar.
Shane's restart looked like a loose shopping cart on a tilted supermarket parking lot. I don't know where he was going. Meanwhile, we got Wanamaker under track. That's the boss man coming.
Yeah, that's a battle for sixth place as Wanamaker shuts the front door. Here comes Liston around the outside. High, wide and handsome. He's going to try something. He's going to hit the wall a little bit and kind of back off. That's going to give Harden a chance to close in once again. I'll tell you what, these are two drivers who are really looking for some sort of good points finish tonight, are Harden and Liston. And a little bit of a rub there. So Lowell Jewell with the hip check there in turn number 2. 3 wide almost there for position as well.
Oh, there's a point from Todd Liston, who gets turned by Kurt Smith. Sneaking through the middle was the Racing Rev, the Lipper, Chris Hayslip. Also scooting through like he always does was James Lowe. We want to get one last look at this, maybe from Lipper's point of view on car camera, or Lowe. Either one will be good.
Well, that was something. Yeah, the 87 involved in that one as well. We just talked about how both of those drivers needed some sort of good nights, and it was not a good night.
That's Electric Boots Benny Ellison going low. And there's Lowe working his way through. Holiday was ahead of Lowe until Holloway was ahead until that incident. Okay.
Got about 20 laps to go, so it's going to set up for an interesting finish, I think.
Well, the question I've had all race is whether Chris Worrell is sandbagging or if he's given it all it's got. We have an opportunity to ask him. I don't know if he'll tell us the truth. Let's dial up the 06. Chris, it's Soup up here in the booth. We've been wondering all race, are you racing as hard as you can, or are you just minding the gap?
I'm doing the best I can to mind the gap. That way, if anything happens at the end, I'll be able to have a good chance at taking off with it. I see the guys in the back, they're getting a little anxious and starting to drive harder. So I might have to pick up the pace a little bit. But yeah, just right now, just trying to save a little something if I have to at the end, you know.
And how much of that is kind of from last night in the back of your mind? We know the tires around this time were starting to be a problem, and we know how these cars are more dependent on tires than the super late models.
Yeah, last night didn't go too good for me. I ended up getting wrecked out pretty early, but I didn't get a lot of experience from that. But you know, out of the schedule, this is one of the tracks I have raced a couple times, so I do have a little bit of experience. So I'm just going to do the best I can and hold on to it, you know.
They're definitely go get them. If I had a suggestion for Chris, there you go. If I had a suggestion for Chris as we put him back down there, I like him saving his stuff, but I'd like him to save his stuff with about a 2 or 3 car length gap, because I think saving his stuff with Shane right behind him, that's a recipe for well, maybe a racing line suggestion. Go get him, buddy.
It really is a suggestion, a race line suggestion. Of course, when you've got 2 pretty fast cars in the 4 and 70 back there, green flag is out once again. And here comes Ruben Altice to the inside of Adam Shane. That's the first time that Adam's really had a challenger, as, yeah, now some of these drivers are thinking it's go time with 16 laps to go.
Foster and Wilson play kind. Altice gets that position picked up. Now there's a battle for second. This is great news for Worlds. Begins to drive away. Oh, taking it in really deep was Lowell Jewell. Almost got in the back of Wilson. He had to check up, and that's going to leave Wanamaker at open door. Before the last yellow flag, James Lowe was racing in 14th position. When we go green, you know where James Lowe is? He's all the way up into 9th. 8th.
Well, he's now up to 8th, Soup, but I think it might be too little too late for our soon-to-be no longer points leader. Oh, a little bit of a wall rub there by Altice, as Shane and Altice are side by side. And who's really liking this? It's Chris Worrell going for win number 1 of the season. Win number 1 here at BRL. We'll see what happens in 13 laps. But these two, man, I'll tell you what, they're running high-speed pace laps.
It was the opening round. Chris Worrell was in the similar position. It was the final lap, the final corner, when he came out of car. Going around is Altice with a little help from the blade. Also Wilson involved in it. Lowe involved in it, scooting through. Altice is back. Davis gets through clean.
And I think James Lowe may have been involved in that one as well.
I was waiting for the 99 to work his way through. He did not get through. He got a little bit of a help from Benny Ellison before Ellison got hit by Holloway.
Ooh, that was a hard hit. You know, Soup, the thing that... Nope, that was a ARCA break right there. The thing that, you know, surprises me is... that's another one. The thing that surprises me about this is this has the feelings of last week with the super late models where anybody who found trouble. And that's where we're at, especially with this one when you have 3, 6, 7, 8 cars involved in this incident.
There is one place to be right now, and that is out in front. That's where Chris Roll has been this entire race, leading all 90 laps. Great battle between Shane and Altice. Altice got him on the jump. Shane came back and got him. And then Foster was able to sneak in there, and then he got into the mix. There's going to be a lot of people. I think if you take out some Hallmark stock if you have time, because I think there's going to be a lot of apology cards purchased here in the next day or two.
Yeah, you know what? I think so. I think, you know, but here's the thing. Hallmark has been pretty expensive, and Valentine's Day stuff is still on clearance at your local store, so I would not be surprised if some of these drivers go get some Valentines for next week.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm so very sad that I punted you. That's the popular one that I would get. They're doubling up. So close. Where's James Lowe after all of that? When I search through, where is he? 11th.
Well, here's my question to you, Soup. Do you think we'll get a green-white checker? Can we run the rest of the race without it?
I think we're good. I think these guys have had enough. I look for Foster to get underneath Shane here to get a second. I don't think anything has BRL as long as he can get from corner number 4 to the checker flag safely. Sure enough, the 4 gets a good jump. Shane trying to pin him down. I'm going to pin you down as low as I can. You used to be in low because you're deaf from down under, and that works. He hangs on to second position. Altice under attack. Look at Wanamaker. He's been all over the standings right now. Having a good run. The 99's been outside. He's to the inside now because he got put there by who else? Number 7, Chris Davis. Now I'm looking at it live, and partner, we're going to look at it, and sometimes things look different when you take a second look at it. So let's take a second look at it. There's Wanamaker in the yellow car. Davis goes underneath. And for some reason, Wanamaker is getting turned to the inside. You be the judge. I love all the drivers.
Last time I was the judge, I got yelled at. Nope, I'm good.
I'd like to announce I love all drivers equally. I think they are all worthy of my friendship. Chris Davis.
I'm here to do a job. Let's just say that, and I am going to be derelict in that duty. We're on our 6th caution. Will this trigger the green-white checker? That's the $1 million question. So,
well, I hope
we go back. Well,
I want to explain how this works here. Pull back the curtain here at VGN. Here in our broadcast booth, we have limited, manpower here. So, I put a pizza in the oven and timed it for this thing to end when the race. If this thing goes green, white, checker, I'm looking at burnt crust. So we got to get this thing done here.
Well, burnt pizza's good pizza. Yeah, we're definitely going to go green, white, checker because we're working lap number 98. Lights are still on the pace car. And so if the lights go out now, it'll be lap 99. So, yeah, we are definitely going into green, white, checker territory. Here's the situation. You've got Chris Roll and Adam Shane, okay? Super was the last time Adam won a race.
It's been a long, long time. I believe that disco was still popular. Speaking of which, we missed the boogie time, didn't we? That's all right.
Well, we were under caution at that point, but either way, Chris Royal hasn't won a race. Ed Foster hasn't won a race. Adam Shane hasn't won a race in, since before internal combustion engines started. Ruben Altice was your race 1 winner this season.
Yeah.
There are a lot of drivers who are looking to win a race, and look at that. You've got Shane and Worrell. They're leading on each other. When they come across the line to be lap 99, green flag will be out. We'll go white flag next time by. Here we go. It's drop time for the final couple laps here, and look at this. We've got the 70, the quiet man around the outside with the Adelaide blade on the inside. Altice and Foster battling tooth and nail for third place. They're both looking pretty good as they come around to get the white flag. 1 lap to go. Chris Worrell has a commanding lead of about 2 car lengths, but Ed Foster, he's looking pretty racy here. He gets around the 70. Either way, Chris Worrell, after losing it in his first race, he's going to come across the line and win here at Concord. Second goes to Shane, third goes to Foster.
Can we get a replay before we go to break of the 52? This is the Chief, Steve Hilbert, having a great run. He started this thing in 6th position. He gets turned at the end. He goes across the line. It's kind of sideways. Let's look at this one. There he is. Beautiful 52 for the Chief there. You look there at Davis in a little battle ahead. They come out of the final corner.
Yeah, the Chief has had a good weekend. You know, he ran really well early on in Friday and last night's race, and then, yeah, to finish where he did, oh, man, sideways. You learn that in Police Academy.
That was it. Altice got up in the wall, and then the Chief powered it through. Good finish for Hilbert as he comes home in 6th. Worrell is your winner. Shane in 2nd, Foster in 3rd. Before we go to break, we'll go all the way down. Where's James Lowe? Not so bad. He comes home in 8th. We'll take a short break, come back and run down the entire finishing order. Talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to Concord Speedway and the Virtual Grip Network 6-round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series. It's season 33. The results are in. Let's give them to you now. It was a little messy, but it did not lack excitement. With all that said, the man who was ahead of all of it was Chris Worrell. Wilder wire, we thought that might happen as he had a 12th place finish last time, got re-grid to the front row, took advantage of that, led all 100 laps. Pick up his first career Bootleg Racing League broadcasted win. Congratulations to Chris Worrell. We'll talk to him in a minute. Adam Shane started in fourth, will come home in second, was in a great battle with Ruben Altice for much of the race. Altice finishes in fifth. Ed Foster able to capitalize, work his way all the way up to the front. He finishes in third. Chris Davis in fourth. Steve Hilbert comes across the line sideways. A good run from him in sixth. Not a career best, but nevertheless very good for the Chief. Cucumber Kurt Smith does what he does, falls back. When it's all said and done, you'll see him in the top 10. Kurt Smith in seventh. James Lowe in eighth. We have points we're going to talk about when we go to interviews. Todd Liston in ninth, rounding out your top 10. Little brother Tom Hilbert. And partner who's the back of the pack.
Well, you got the racing rev. Chris Hazlip sitting there in 11th. 12th goes to John Wilson. He'll be on the front row next week alongside Alan Wanamaker in the 9. That's an interesting front row, and I can't wait to see what happens next week. Benny Olson, last car in the lead lap. Then it's the boss man, Lowell Jewell, Mike Holloway, Jeffrey Harden, and Bobby Hayes out early.
Okay, with that said, I'm going to get an opportunity to talk to the race winner. It's Chris Worrell. Chris, you went fast enough to keep him behind you. Lots of chaos going back. Sometimes it's really nice to lead all the laps. You were just far enough ahead of all the nonsense.
Yeah, I had a bad weekend last weekend, and it put me in position to start up front, and just got lucky. Was able to hang on to the spot and put down some decent laps and stay up there.
You were in this position to start the season, leading the last lap, coming out of corner number 4, nothing between you and the checkered flag, but a car that was parked perpendicular. Any of those thoughts go through your mind on that last lap?
That thought goes through my mind every lap since that race, to be honest with you. That's the perfect question. That's all I've been able to think about since I've joined the league. You know, I've sit here and watched you guys, heard your voices for so long, watched the broadcast, and nothing I wanted more to win that first race, and to have it taken away like that, it was just so wild. And I just had a monkey on my back this whole time. I just thought, well, I'm never going to win a race. You know, it's either me beating my car up or, you know, just other things happening. I just never thought I'd, you know, be able to get the win. So, yes, I absolutely was thinking about that. And hopefully this will let me relax and kind of improve and race a little smarter in the future.
Yeah. Well, you know, we have to play straight up into the booth, but I think it's a fair statement to state that everybody here at VGN and all the guys who race in the BRL congratulate you on your first win, man. Way to go. You didn't have to wait long for it. You got it on your 6th career race. So we'll see you down the road. Let's get another one next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'd like to thank real quick my buddy James Lowe. You guys for putting on a great broadcast. Aunt Mary for watching the broadcast. Everybody that shows up for this awesome league, and I look forward to next weekend.
You got it. There you go. Chris Worrell, our winner today. Aunt Mary, a little sad that James Lowe had trouble, but she should take some solace in knowing that his friend Chris Worrell got the win. Partner, who you got?
Well, normally it's a second-place driver, but I've got to say this. It is our feature driver. Ed, first of all, congratulations. I didn't want to say it on the interview because I didn't want to stress you out, but I had you at the under finish in the top 5. Thank you for giving me the rare win.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you win the meat platter this week. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I win the meat platter. By the way, you are also the points leader going into next week as well, so it all works out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a bit of a rough night for a couple of others, but yeah, sort of, you know, managed to hold it together there at the end. Those last handful of cautions were fairly stressful. I would have been, you know, but on both occasions, I think, you know, I was kind of happy with where I was. You know, I was kind of settled in single file. I was, you know, pretty happy. And then we kept getting those cautions and just kept throwing all the jeopardy back into it again. But yeah, you know what, we got there, so it's okay.
Yeah, it almost felt like near the end, the Concord Linear Super Late Model race. But let's talk about that one where you ended up turning, I believe it was Ruben Altice. Did you get any damage from that? Car running okay after that?
Yeah, it was absolutely fine, no damage at all. It sucks for him because I could tell, I was following him for a while, and I could tell that his right front was pretty gone. He was having a real tough time getting through the last turn. Just wasn't able to hit that bottom lane at all, so I knew that his right front was a little bit gone, which obviously means that he's going to potentially be checking up in corners a little bit, and I was right on his bumper, and he just had a little bit of a wobble and a check up, and I couldn't avoid him. I was too close to him. But still, you never want to turn a guy around, so yeah, apologies to him anyway for my part in that. But at least he was able to sort of gather it up, I think, and still got a decent finish. So yeah, not all bad.
Well, either way, bud, you're knocking at the door, your first win, third place. Great showing. It arguably was a pretty tough track for everybody, so congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. This has always been my worst track. I was devastated when I looked and saw what was coming up next week, and I'm just like, oh, that little triangle of misery. But I spent a little bit of time, this week just trying to actually learn it and understand it, and I wasn't able to make the super late model race yesterday, but I did watch it just to kind of get an idea of the way it raced and the kinds of things I could expect. And yeah, that sort of prepared me fairly well coming into tonight, and I don't hate the place so much anymore. I've got a bit of a groove now, so yeah, that's a plus.
Fantastic. All right, congrats, Ed. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks very much.
Well, there you have it. It was a good one. We got ourselves a new point leader. We got ourselves a first-time winner. You can't ask for much more than that on a broadcast. Now I'll turn it over to my partner to get us home in professional fashion.
Well, of course, that does it for tonight's broadcast. As you take a look at tomorrow's Rockingham for the Gen 4 Yesteryear Cup Series. I hear that last week was a mess for the Gen 4 and could be a little bit different at Rockingham. National Super Speedway is on Monday for the Scrambler Series. Soup, you and I've got fighter jets in a gymnasium at Iowa Speedway on Wednesday night. I cannot wait for that.
Well, that's going to be fun. You couldn't phrase it better. Fighter jets in a gymnasium. It's going to be exciting.
Oswego Speedway for the Skidder Creek Modified Series. And then both the super late models and the late models are at South Boston next week. You thought this was mayhem? Wait till next week. So for the entire VGN crew, alongside my partner Bill Soup Zahn, Ryan Sedeker back at the booth making it sound oh so good. My name is Jeremy Scott. Don't forget to keep between the ditches, keep it point forward, always keep it greasy side down. We'll see you next week here on the Virtual Grip Network.